All right, well, welcome to the 5 Minute Marketer. I'm Sage. This is Jonathan, and we're going to talk about e-commerce, new old age marketing, and the digital marketing space, and what to expect coming forward if you're a marketer trying to make more revenue online, if you're just trying to build your reputation or build your career. This is where you can find new updates and where we openly discuss about new tactics for marketing, either your brand, your e-commerce, whether you're on Amazon, any one of the online platforms, or if you're just a digital marketer trying to gain some skills. So today we're doing an intro. I'm going to keep it light, and we're going to discuss a few new updates in the e-commerce world and the controversies of some of the new e-commerce platforms, like specifically TikTok Shop. And without further ado, we've got Jonathan here as well, and I've also got my friend, the what's this guy's name again?
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. He's going to do a feature as well, so he's going to be back here just giving the jolly old Saint Nicholas. You guys do that in where
we do another holiday called Hanukkah. With
that was just a little side play, but my background is in e-commerce. I've been doing some videos. This is actually probably just going to go up on the playlist originally on my YouTube for marketing. And I started in the social media space. One of the big things right now is actually seasonal products. And so I brought that up, and I was just like inflating it, getting ready for the Christmas party. And I was thinking, how much money do these guys make just selling inflatable balloons from China? And I'm just sitting there blowing it into a straw, and it's like trying to blow this whole thing up, and it's like probably hundreds of thousands of dollars during the season, if not more. And the profit margin's crazy. Right now, it's like it's either you go super narrow with your niche and sell a product that's very quality. You hit that target, just very, very narrow, or you got to go volume. And with social media, like I grew pages on Instagram when I was like 17, 18, 19, going up to like where I actually started getting into direct like marketing / digital marketing in school and stuff. And it was all about volumes of posts. You post volumes, and you post without really knowing exactly when the large traffic is going to come, but you can kind of predict it, but it's not an exact science. And then you do that for like a year, and you build these large audiences, and then you can funnel traffic with those what's called like theme pages or meme pages, and you sell stuff like that. So these guys, Temu, and then other generic brands are a huge thing on Amazon right now. And I like to encourage Amazon sellers. You're an Amazon seller yourself, right? With some partners, and you've done some other things. But
some good
the volume, right? The volume of the generic brands that you can come out with, and we were talking about my hat. You can come out with a nice brand, and you can release it, and it can do well. And then if it does well, you're actually in the danger zone, because it's only a matter of time before somebody like Temu or a generic Chinese brand or wherever they're mass producing from Shenzhen, they come in and they just steal your whole flow.
There's an interesting stat on Amazon that 70% of the products are actually factories that are in China that are actually just lowballing everything, that are just selling it, with their low cost, and they're just wreaking havoc on, entrepreneurs or whatever that buy from them. But yet, these factories are, they're stabbing them in the back, because they're like, selling, and what's the cost for them? I mean, they sell something, to you for $1, and it costs them 10 cents, and then they go out there, buy from me, and they're selling it for like 29 cents. It's tough, and it shows you what the real trick is, or what the real strategy is. and what the real perception is, because sometimes they don't know how to market too well, they just sell. But if you can really
Exactly.
establish a good brand on Amazon, and you don't run out of inventory because Amazon penalizes you for that, then you can actually win that game. You can
Exactly.
actually
Well,
create that trust.
that's true. And so building trust is a huge thing on Amazon. I think what I've been telling most of my clients and most of the people I work with, um, and then whenever I try to do like a test shop, I usually try to keep in mind like Amazon is usually the like where I would recommend people get the most sales for an e-commerce venture that they're getting themselves into. But as of lately, it's very easy to replicate that product or that flow. And so
Mhm.
when people like we talked about talking about TikTok Shop's a new thing. People think it like people are kind of questioning whether it's going to be around for a while. I think it's going to be around for quite a while, but I think the caveat there is just like volumes, right? You're saying like controlling the amount of quantity, going real low cost and doing high volumes of advertising. Same thing goes with TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop is huge. If you have something that sells very well and it's very quality as a product, and then you do volumes of video and iterations on that pain point or that benefit. But I think what's very different about Amazon, what people don't want to make this mistake about on TikTok Shop is like you can sell, like we were talking about the brands, you can sell a hat the same way you talk to somebody in Shenzhen or anywhere in China and they're like, yeah, we'll make that for you. It's very easy to do, right? But what's hard to do and what I've seen is like I've worked with a couple of supplement brands and
Mhm.
nobody's trusting supplement brands from China, right? Like that's one thing. The other
Yeah,
thing is like you're not going to if you can build a reputation slash a real brand, something that people follow, build your videos behind an idea and get people to shop for it, then you can actually create an advantage. Whereas on Amazon, there's literally no difference between because everybody plays on the same fixed rules. It's like everybody has A plus content, everybody has a brand story. You sell the same product, you ship it to the same place, and it's a war of what are the costs. And as long as on the
yeah,
visual side it's 4 stars on 4 stars, it's like how am I supposed to know as a customer that yours is any better just because you say yours is from the US or just because it's been there longer. And so many brands come to me and they're like, well, we've been selling for a long time. And I'm like, well, doesn't kind of doesn't matter where you sell it because brands live well on Amazon up until they don't, and the generic brand comes in, and then they're like, damn, what do I do? And they kind of just end up living with it.
I think that you probably, I mean, yeah, Amazon has been around for a long time, so I think there's a little more trust,
True.
when you're selling on Amazon, and building the brand is okay. You don't have to try so hard on it because people have some type of trust level. I think with TikTok, if you test it out and maybe you can actually create instead of you I mean using TikTok shop, which is great. It's a trendy thing. It's a trend driven audience, so as long as you build that trust on there with social content, social proof, you're doing pretty good. But I think
Right.
maybe you can also look into maybe combining some of the posts with a link to Amazon saying, okay, I'm taking advantage of the trends here, but don't worry about me. Take a look at Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon too. And that's a
Exactly.
little,
Exactly. Just a
that's,
redirect, right?
yeah.
And so I think for a lot of people, I agree with that as well. Like TikTok, you don't get as much of the trust. In fact, most people don't trust it. And then you're kind of on new territory. Nobody really knows what the keys are, what the large focus is, and if anything, it's only been around for a year or so, so it's not really something that's developed yet. I will say that TikTok because of the amount of traffic and the amount of skewed data that you can target for ads, it's the quickest way to see whether a product will live or die. And so I
Mhm.
like to get products that I see online, and if it's doing well, like one, if it's doing well on Instagram or TikTok or Meta ads or Google ads, I'm like, all right, give me those videos. I'm gonna find the sourcing for this video, find the raw files. Maybe I'll even send product to maybe a test user or something like that and get those initial ads and then just launch them all on TikTok on organic and see if they actually sell. Because then if people start commenting, right? And this is for anybody trying to get into TikTok shop, like, or e-commerce, it's like you don't have to spend massive amounts of dollars to know whether there's a demand. And so it's kind of like selling the sizzle before you actually, serve them up, right? And so
Yeah.
it's a good way to drive interest slash demand without spending tens of thousands of dollars, whereas Amazon takes a big chunk of your money, and
Yeah.
then the
That's tough.
registry. So like you end up spending on inventory, the registry, the brand, and you do all of that. And most people don't know this, but Amazon brands, if you're stuck in that little loop, you can be there for a while, and there's no such thing as pivoting out of an entire product, especially if you're already on Amazon and you're stuck with those specific traits that you had launched with. And so yeah, that's my biggest benefit from TikTok Shop.
I
Have you?
I think there's some. I mean, today it's all about video. So if you can
Yeah,
really
that's the other thing.
show, those products working well, you develop some type of trend, you develop, some viral action going on. It could work. Especially if you see how well it's working on Amazon, you can say, you know what, maybe this might be good for a TikTok shop, little influencer action, and who knows, it can take off pretty good. You can also, I guess there are other marketplaces that you can take advantage of too. So if you see where it's working, you can just, and then there's, like we talked about earlier about the AI software that can just, post content all at once in these different platforms.
For sure,
And there's so many out there now.
for
So
sure.
that's the way to do it, because I think also maybe in the long run, Google will see the interaction between all these, right?
Exactly,
And they'll
exactly.
pick it up. And a few
That's the
months,
thing.
yeah,
That's the
would
thing.
be
I
good.
think there's so you mentioned AI. Sorry to cut you off. You mentioned AI. You also mentioned Google and ranking, and you know, there's so many new platforms coming out. I think that people start to question, like, well, what's the most reliable platform, and so they gravitate towards what they know. Um, but at one point, Amazon was the new platform. At one time, Shopify was a new platform, and all these people are kind of who got laid onto the game or got on late are now seeing, oh, well, Shopify is the next thing to do. And it's obviously 10x or 10 times harder to do something after a market's already semi-saturated and you have like your top guys. And so I would say, if it's the three things that I want to say for advice before we end this quick little podcast, it's like, if you're thinking about anything, AI marketing, TikTok shop, if you're thinking about anything like that, do your research, of course, do your due diligence, find out the most about the platform or about the technology, but don't let that fear of you kind of moving forward on a venture let it stop you from growth. And so 2024, it's all about pivots. And so in brands that I've worked with, in my own agency, with my own brands, had I pivot and if I pivot at the right point, things always go well. And so I would say, one, do your due diligence. Two, don't be afraid to act. And then three, just stay with people. Like if you wanna find something that works, don't reinvent the wheel. Like always just go for what works. And then in the same
Make it
vein, you
better.
have to find somebody. You have to
Yeah,
find somebody like yourself, for example. You've been doing digital marketing for a while. Um, you know what doesn't work. You know what works, right? And stuff that
yeah,
stays, no matter what the season is. For
exactly.
example, SEO always works. A good
It works.
copywriting always works,
Always,
right?
it always works. As long as you get, some good, credible, trustworthy content.
Yeah,
So, and Google has got the algorithm. It's been around over 20 years. I mean, it knows exactly the style of writing. It knows now whether you're just writing some, copied, mumbo jumbo from AI. You gotta,
exactly,
show experience, and they
exactly,
want that, and they show
exactly,
value, and they want that, and that algorithm is pretty insane that it knows that. But if you just play along with the rules, you'll get indexed and you'll get traffic, and if there's
exactly.
providing a great need, a great solution, you can definitely, build that traffic. It might take a while, just like anyone
That's
else.
right.
Google,
That's great advice. I think
yeah.
that's
So
great advice
and don't let
because
yeah,
yeah,
and don't
no, you
let
were
your
saying
fear just take a you have I mean you create the fear. A lot of these people, they create their own fear. Stop that. Just go and
true,
do it. Like Nike
true,
said, just do it. So
exactly. Best brand, best one of the best brands, top brands in the world. Um,
exactly.
so yeah, you're definitely right. Quality stays quality no matter how long or how many platforms there are. You do something right, somebody's going to be there's going to be a desire for it. So, yeah, it's great advice. Anybody looking to get into TikTok Shop or AI marketing, that's our wheelhouse. And we'll be doing these short, kind of little pop-in podcasts from time to time. Really, today was the first attempt at something of a quick and really to the point slash something that you could play as a podcast on your quick drive, or if you're short on time and you wanted to hear a bit more on an update in the marketing world and in the e-commerce space. And so we appreciate you. Yeah, John,
Thank
anything
you.
else you want to say here?
Just keep on at it.
All right.
People. What was the Thomas Edison? What did he do? He created 1,000 times. He created things until he invented the light bulb. So
Exactly.
pretty crazy. Just keep on at it. Don't give up, and you just gotta plow through. Keep on plowing because that's the only way to do it. Just like Elon Musk, what he had like 100 rockets fall into the sea and
Exactly.
explode. So at least cost them
Yeah.
$100 billion or some crazy thing. Just keep on at it, and then as we go forward, we'll be a little more detailed. But this is we just wanted to get it out there and share some overview, some stories, some experience, give you some tips here and there, and a little
Yep.
friendly talk with all of you and with the master TikTok man here, Sage. So
TikTok man,
I'm a talk
general
man,
marketer, Amazon guy, and jolly old
Mr.
Saint Nick,
Claus.
Mr. Claus. All right. Well, thanks,
All right,
guys. See you on the next one. Peace.
you got it. Be
Thanks,
well.
John.
You got it.